Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? How's everybody doing out there? We got another good episode, amazing episode of Crossing the Line. The house fit is popping. Christmas tee, a cardigan, hat don't match. Just threw that on just because I wanted to get crazy. I wanted to go left with it. Blue basketball shorts, red and yellow, cheetah knee-high socks on. So yeah, I'm feeling good. You look good, you feel good. I'm learning how to, cut my beard, shape it up a little bit. I ain't do a good. I ain't do a bad job. Mustache a little dark, but we'll figure it out. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's been good. Um, Damn, the summer's almost here, you guys. I mean, it's already shit. I'm in New Jersey, so right now it's averaging around like 70 degrees, 80 degrees, and then the night it gets pretty chilly. But the weather's been amazing. Like the past, I could say like the past 2-3 weeks, it's been pretty dope. Um, so yeah, with that being said, no big news as far as personal stuff. So we just gonna get into the content, man. Y'all already know the two biggest issues right now is number one, 100 people versus one gorilla. Who would win? You see it on the screen. I'm gonna go with humanity. I'm gonna go with my peoples. I'm gonna go with us, man. I think will it be a lot of casualties? Yeah, a lot of broken bones, some couple deaths, a good amount of deaths. Yeah, people gonna be busted up. But I don't think a gorilla necessarily has the endurance. I don't think they have the endurance. I think we could coordinate some shit. I think after a while, you're gonna see a couple of them. You're gonna look back and you be like, look, we keep getting taken out. We got to do it while we have a lot of numbers. You need 10, 20, 30 people literally at the same time running, trying to grab an arm, and literally just kicking and punching the hell out of this thing until you just knock it unconscious. Would it be easy? Of course not. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot of people dead, but I do think we can do it. A hundred. You gonna have at least 20 crazy motherfuckers that just gonna be like, yeah, I can't wait to do it. You gonna have a couple. You gonna have about 5, 10 that's like thinkers that's gonna be like, yeah, I need to do it before it dwindles down a little bit. So you gonna have some people fighting for fear. So I think you could get a solid 30 to 40 people to pounce on this thing at the same time after it already is tired from taking out about 30 people. I think it could be done. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. And I actually got an exclusive interview from one of the gorillas. We haven't heard from him.
Completely divided onto who would win the fight. One side thinks that the gorilla would pull a Winston and just completely thrash the army of humans with ease, while the other side believes that the sheer numbers would let the humans just beat up the gorilla like it's Naruto. But who is actually correct? Is a gorilla versus 100 people actually a fair fight, or is it actually a stomp? Does the gorilla win, or do the humans? Let's find out. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like,
I'm going with the
subscribe, and let's
humans.
jump right in.
That's my
Now,
pick.
to begin, I think it's important to establish both sides of this fight. For the gorilla, we are assuming that this is essentially the strongest gorilla possible. Of the four gorilla species, easily the largest and strongest would be a silverback eastern lowland gorilla. At the absolute largest, gorillas can stand over 6 feet tall and weigh between 400 and 500 pounds, the largest ever being about 600 pounds or even beyond. However, this fails to capture how a gorilla's overall proportions drastically exceed that of a normal human, with a wingspan of over 8 feet, drastically more muscle mass, and far less body fat. In comparison to the peak gorilla, the group of humans will be made up of 100 average people. There will be no boxers, nor MMA fighters or athletes, and instead it will just be 100 totally normal people with totally normal physical stats, with there being an equal number of men and women. Now, technically, average height and weight varies somewhat drastically across the planet, so for this video, we'll be taking the stats from just Americans when possible. This means the 50 men in the group will be on average 5'9" and almost 200 pounds, while the 50 women in the group will be on average 5'4" and 170 pounds.
That's
Now,
fair.
to be fair, Americans are kind of fat, so ultimately, using the statistics of a healthier nation doesn't change these values very much or the outcome, in my opinion. Still, either way, the gorilla is going to be far larger than any single human, exceeding them in height by a couple inches and being casually twice the weight of the average man. Also, just so we're all on the same page, this is what 100 people looks like.
when you see the picture, it's like, that don't look like that many. But we still talking about like 30 people at the same time. 40 people at the same time. And like I said, he already, think about it. He already, let's say if the gorilla fights through about 20, 30 people, he's already going to be gassed. They don't fight for like long periods of time. They fight for like a minute. So I don't know, man. And I think it would have to be some athletes. Out of 100 people, it's going to be at least, let's say 10 people that's more active than the normal. Not saying just workout heads or athletes necessarily. It could be people who hike, mountain climb, swim. Like those people are still like very in shape. Somebody who's not a boxer but just a gym rat. Out of 100, at least 7. At least.
Like it's definitely not a small group, but it's also not a
I
massive
really say
crowd
10,
by any
but
means. A lot of college lectures have more people than this in them. With that being understood, who wins this? Determining the true strength of a gorilla is incredibly difficult for multiple reasons. Firstly, gorillas ultimately are not a predatory species, so in comparison to something like a bear, a wolf, or any of the big cats, they rarely, if ever, go out of their way to attack humans. Secondly, unlike for humans that will willingly do experiments to test the limits of human strength, doing the exact same thing is almost impossible for gorillas because they're not just going to do a bench press for a couple of bananas, unfortunately. This forces most, if any, estimations of gorilla strength to be just that, estimations based off of their bodies and the very rare instances of strength that we have seen from them. Thirdly, there is a lot of hearsay and misinformation regarding gorillas, with most...
I never even seen that clip before. He literally threw his whole body. You know that glass be thick. That glass be thick as hell.
Most, if any, estimations of gorilla strength to be just that, estimations based off of their bodies and the very rare instances of strength that we have seen from them. Thirdly, there is a lot of hearsay and misinformation regarding gorillas, with most online sources claiming completely different stats for what gorillas are actually capable of. Finally, a lot of info about gorillas that does exist is oftentimes really old. The biggest issue, though, is that inconsistent information. For example, one website says they can lift 1,800 pounds, while another claims they can lift more than twice that at 4,000 pounds. Things get even more wild when these resources put it in terms of humans. Some claim that a gorilla is 8 times stronger than an average man. Another claims that they are 4 to 10 times stronger than a human. Another source claims 12 times, with another claiming that gorillas are a whopping 20 times stronger than a human. Clearly, the only consistent thing agreed on here is that gorillas are stronger than humans, but this much variation in number between sources isn't.
That's ridiculous. Come on now. Why do you even want to drive some shit that sound like that? That's nuts.
Enough to say that these numbers are completely made up or very unsubstantiated. So let's look to what actual researchers have said about gorillas or what we have actually seen them do in real life. Consistently, gorillas have been seen uprooting thin banana trees, shattering protective glass, and have broken human arms in brief attacks. Smaller and weaker primates like chimpanzees have shown feats of strength 2 to 3 times stronger than that of a normal human, around 800 to 1,200 pounds. Given that chimps are less than a quarter of the weight of a gorilla, suddenly the 4,000 pound claims look slightly more valid.
That makes sense too, though, because a chimpanzee or what is those orangutans? Like it's a lot of monkeys. Even though they small, they strong as hell. Like, so that makes sense. That make a lot. Yeah, that makes sense.
Are less than a quarter of the weight of a gorilla, suddenly the 4,000 pound claims look slightly more valid and would approximately make them 8 to 10 times stronger than a human being lifting wise, though strength and weight don't exactly work with that in a 1-to-1 ratio, clearly. Looking back to older information, the statements get harder to verify, but could also be potentially more legitimate, as these were real interactions in the wild. We have accounts from 19th century explorer Paul Chalu recounting gorillas snapping and bending metal guns
I
with
think
their
that's
bare
true.
hands, or even an older account from explorer Andrew Patel that
Like if
recounts
they
that
really
10
wanted to,
people
if you
were
gave one, they was like,
unable
you
to
like
bend
bend
a
this shit. I
gun.
think they could
Finally,
bend
we
it.
have more speculative calculations around
Not
things like gorilla
every
bite
gun,
force and
but
punching strength,
yeah.
which is incredibly difficult to calculate without, having the gorilla punch something that actually measures the force. Still, even the most lowball calculations put the gorilla's strength at around 881 joules of force, with the highest being 3,660 joules of force. In comparison, humans output only about 74 joules with their punches, which would make the potential difference in punch power anywhere from around 10 to 50 times. I don't think really speed is something we really need to talk about here. It isn't like other power scaling topics where either side is a blitz difference faster than the other or anything like that. Gorillas and humans are simply comparable in overall speed, with the gorilla being a bit faster in bursts of muscular power, though such speeds aren't exactly sustainable. So overall, gorillas are stronger, larger, heavier, and more powerful than multiple humans combined. Either way though, are the humans cooked? Let's get into it. Now, in a 1v1, 2v1, or even 10v1, I think the gorilla could pretty easily take it. From everything we've seen, from historical accounts to estimations, a gorilla may legitimately be around 10 times the strength of average humans, making all of these random articles potentially correct even if they were just yapping. Single strikes and bites from a gorilla is going to be breaking bones of whoever is unlucky enough to be in range. As they tend to do, they can also easily grab, lift, and pull around any human they manage to grab. Furthermore, most attacks from a human are simply not going to legitimately harm a gorilla, the difference in the basic lifting and punching power being so immense that the person punching the gorilla would probably hurt their hands more than the gorilla's body. But as the number of humans increases towards 100, things get worse and worse for the gorilla for multiple reasons. Firstly, fatigue. Gorillas are not used to, nor are they really built for long, drawn-out fights. Most conflicts between gorillas only last a couple minutes at most, which is actually true for most humans as well. But while the gorilla might tear through 20, 30, 40 people, boom, there are still 60 humans the gorilla has to beat in order to win. Secondly, in this fight, strategy and coordination genuinely matter. For this fight to even happen, we kind of need to ignore the concept of fear for both sides. If a gorilla saw a group of 100 humans, they are very likely not going to attack and just run away. On the other side, if most people saw a gorilla beating up a dude, they're not going to jump in and help out. They are also running away. With that being said, if
100%.
both sides legitimately want to beat the other with full conviction and no other options, 100 people can pretty quickly coordinate to absolutely bum rush on the gorilla, who simply would not be able to attack every person at once, even 20 people at once. Which brings up the third thing, weight. For as strong as a gorilla is, especially a potentially tired gorilla, is simply not strong enough to hold off the weight of a coordinated group of humans. At the mid-end estimation of 1,800 pounds, even just 20 200-pound humans would be able to pin down a gorilla, with the only claim to the contrary being from a guy born in the 1500s. Would people get hurt and probably be killed in this effort to pin him down? But again, there are 50 dudes all prepared to do this, let alone the 50 women. But pinning isn't enough. The gorilla would need to be defeated, and even without tools, humans should be able to actually hurt gorillas. While human punches are far weaker than the apes, human kicks are overall far stronger. It can range from over 3,000 to over 4,000 joules, which is actually stronger than gorilla punches from a pure energy output standpoint, as crazy as that sounds. So while yes, one guy randomly kicking a gorilla would probably do nothing, several dozen people all kicking at a gorilla's head while he's already pinned down would eventually take him out. So yes, 100 humans could beat a gorilla. If gorillas were truly a threat to literally 100 humans at a time, there would be far more stories of gorillas actually, killing humans, while we have stories like this for elephants or bears. So bottom line is this, humans most likely win, but you don't want to be at the front of the crowd when you're staring down a silverback.
Come on. I knew it. I knew it.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
But we do have an exclusive interview, exclusive video of the gorilla's thoughts about this. Let's get it. Make this a little.
That shit with nobody. They started that shit with me. I just finished it. Number 10, come get your little shit back, you heard? She with the apes now, nigga. Boom, beat his fucking head in like a drum. None of these niggas had this shit on. I'm trying to get waves on my shit now. You ain't see me going on the internet making videos like, yo, I could beat 100 niggas. I come get your shit back in blood, boy. They came to my shit. The last nigga, I just wanted to keep him alive. So, I just robbed him of his Dior's and Nah, chill. That shit spinning. I'm a real West Side Rilla. 100 niggas ran down and I ain't even flinch. Nigga number one ain't make it home to see his bitch. 120 down the highway and I ain't even crashed the whip. Follow me on SoundCloud though, the real Rilla. Coming from where I come from, not a lot of Rillas make it out. I had to scope the scenery out, so I'm here. It's 50 days in the Bronx Zoo.
It's crazy.
Everybody get shot. Boom, boom, boom. So RIP my nigga Harambe though. Y'all violated. We gonna get back for that. Fuck y'all niggas talk about. 4, 5, 6.
Around the dirt bike is
shit to the
crazy.
jungle. Fuck you talking about? Man, look, story, man. Y'all know where I'm at, man. If y'all need that, come get that. West Side Rilla shit. See, I ain't start that shit with nobody. They started that shit with me. I just finished it. Number 10, come get your little shit back, you heard? She with the apes now, nigga. Dude, beat his fucking head in like a drum. None of these niggas had this shit on. I'm trying to get waves of.
Oh man, yo, people is dry. Yo, this is crazy. Actually, at least we talking about something different. It's not about Diddy. It's not about Shannon Sharp. It's not about Kendrick and Drake. We talking about, will one gorilla fight or win against 100 humans? That's like perfect. That's perfect, to be honest. So we talking about something different. We changing it up. And yeah, my money is on the people. If not, you guys let me know in the comment section what y'all think, all right? But that was dope. It was just, like I said, it's just thought. It's just a thought-provoking conversation. Especially when you smoke and you blast it, that's like the best convo. But, all right, y'all, I'm out of here. Peace, cheese, and I'll catch you on the next one.